And here in the top right-hand corner of Cloud Kingdom, we have our blue Protoss player from the Renegades of Hell. I don't know. It's Kuma. And his opponent down in the bottom left-hand corner, Saints, just jumping in on all these Renegades of Hell games. This is
scared.
Taunting fate. Down in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our player from Root, Red Zerg player, winner of game number 1. It is Destiny.
Okay, so you said, how do you beat a bear, man? And I said, fire.
Yes.
But actually, he's a Renegade of Hell, so it might not be as effective as...
Ooh, a Renegade of Hell bear? Can you still, like, run downhill, and it still works against a Renegade of Hell as well?
Maybe. If you play Hell Possum, it could work against a Hell bear.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
I want to work in a Bears Beats Battlestar Galactica joke, but I can't, so there it is.
Yeah.
That's already... We'll just get that one out of the way.
The Hell is basically one big game of the floor is lava, so maybe something to do with fire would work out, but it seemed like they'd be immune to it. I don't know.
I feel like you would have a resistance to it at least.
Yeah.
You know, have some sort of built-up immunity, but...
You would hope.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, well, I just hope for his sake.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you're living in Hell and you...
It's rough in Hell.
Yeah. You know, you all know. I mean, we're just
restating the obvious here. So
of course. So everyone's obviously familiar with the Hell's operations.
Yes. 13 pool for Destiny. He's kicking things off on a pretty normal foot. Kuma, though, saving up to 17 probes. We'll see if he decides to switch things up and drop down that Forge, nevertheless, noting that it is a slightly earlier pool, but ever so slightly. Or if he's going to drop down the Nexus. Nexus first on 17.
Ever so slightly. But
yes.
It's how
a modicum of time before.
You love modicum.
Yeah.
You just always say it.
All the time. Just continually. Yes.
And it's funny that you just responded all the time, because that was the thing I couldn't stop saying when I cast solo on YouTube. I would say, you know, more units coming in all the time, adding on barracks all the time, all the time, all the time. And then, of course, I said it all the time, all the time.
Yes.
So.
Ooh, and a gateway.
I notice every time you say all the time now, so I try not to say it.
It always happens. Whenever if you're in broadcasting or anything like that, that is definitely a concern. As Destiny is going to take his expansion here in just a second, finally fighting away that probe so we can take down at least one base, probably second here in just a bit as well. But I mean, this is all, I mean, you get used to this in broadcasting. You'll overuse phrases really, really badly, and then you'll have to have someone correct you, then you listen to them, you're like, wow, I sounded stupid. And you realize you always sound stupid.
Yeah,
and
dude.
Then
you
figure
accept
it out.
Yes. Once you realize how stupid you sound all the time, it makes it a lot easier, because you expect to sound stupid, and then when you sound smart, it's like an achievement. It's really great, actually. But Kevin and I both have a lot of broadcasting experience. I was working in radio at 17 years old. Yeah. So I mean, I'm 26 now, so that's like 5 years.
I was 19 when I started doing radio in college. So.
Yeah. So both of us radio guys, marketing guys, StarCraft guys. It's true. Very, very similar layouts.
It's true.
But yeah, so I've realized actually a phrase that I've been saying a bit too much in our IPTL amateur division, and that's staging. Yeah. But that's like a great word for it. When a bunch of Zerglings are getting ready for a drop or to attack into a front wall, I say they're staging their forces right here. And I mean, that's kind of what they're doing. There's got to be better words, though, out there.
My word is nevertheless, because it's the closest, it's the most German of the of English words, because Germans just like to take words and they just smash them together in kind of word sandwiches. And nevertheless is just 3 English words slammed together. So
that's true.
Nevertheless. All right.
Regardless,
taking a look at things, we have, of course, 3 hatcheries out now. Destiny going for a little bit different approach, though, getting gas quite a bit earlier. Once you invest in that Zergling speed, he did see the gateway first. There's still no forge up at the front or anything along those lines, so it's...
You said there's no forge up at the front, and you clearly clicked on a forge, so maybe you meant cannon.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. No cannon. You are 100% correct.
As long as there's no forge there with this forge selected, then Destiny will have an open
cannon.
route.
I know what I meant to say. Yes, there's no cannon up at the front, and Zealots are hacking away at this hatchery. This is going to be enough Zerglings to take them down.
Yes, the Stalker will get a couple of free shots, though. Hopefully, if he focuses down the right Zerglings, he can get a few kills before he tries to scamper away. But those Lings, they don't have speed yet, but they can get a few shots. If Kuma wanted to, he could probably turn around and try to take some with him, because I'm not sure if this Stalker is actually going to make it home.
Well, it's trying right now.
Imagine the Stalker just turns around, and he's like, oh, man, shouldn't have turned around.
Well, Kuma's going to be able to get back home. Still no cannon over the front this time, so the Forge is researching +1 weapons.
That's right, and the Lair is coming up now for Destiny. Obviously, he'll have some tech options available. Doesn't actually have very many extractors going right now, so he's only 3 out of 4. Not sure which method he's going to be going for here. Not saving a ton of gas for Aspire, though, so I think we can kind of rule that out for now. That third base is operational. He doesn't have any extractors on it, so still not 100% sure what he's going to be doing. Possibly just moving into roaches, but there's a robotics facility coming up now for Kuma.
Yeah, that's right. And this has been kind of a weird build from Kuma, admittedly. He decided to go Gateway first, and he put on some pressure at the beginning, but didn't really get anything done with it. I mean, it came at a time when there wasn't likely to be that many drones there, especially because he knew the natural was taken before the third. It wasn't like he forced him to take the third instead. So, anyway, we'll see how he follows this up. Infestation Pit and a 4th gas coming up now for Destiny. So I don't know if he's just... Destiny was always really fond of... And I say this back... Oh, man, when I first knew him back in 2011, I guess, really early part of that, he would say that he has more confidence playing the late game than pretty much anyone else because people are trying to kill people too quickly. So he would just rush for the highest tech possible so we could just play ultra defensive, ultra late game.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Infestors obviously are just a very, very, very useful, versatile unit that even the older maps like Xel'Naga Caverns, they were just incredibly good because of the kind of attack paths that you used to see a lot, going behind third bases and stuff like that. So Infestors with their infested Swarm Eggs and infested Terrans, just really, really effective. And Destiny got really used to playing those. Obviously, like the Brofester hit squads and all that stuff that he's known for. He's still very, very good at utilizing Burrow, utilizing Infestors, and doing damage in places you wouldn't expect. So that makes sense to me. I do like Infestor play here just because it's like an easier ramp up, right? So you put some gas away for the Infestation Pit, you put some gas away for the Pathogen Glands, and then you can start rolling out Infestors kind of steadily. Whereas Mutas, you tend to need to save something like 1,200 gas in order to just churn out a big wave of mutas and try to do some damage immediately. Infestors are going to do you more in the long run as far as the energy that you can use with them and everything like that.
So, total of 4 gates up now for Kuma with that Robo as well. He's producing at a pretty fair clip, and looks like he's going to full wall this up here at the front. And Destiny should pretty clearly see that. Yeah, sees the additional structures that are coming up, so that Overseer is still in a pretty nice position to eventually sacrifice itself. Getting close to RCP levels of cannons here, though. And we'll see.
Did you say RCP?
RSVP.
Oh,
He's a player
okay.
from Complexity.
You said it too quickly.
For a long time. I'm sorry.
I thought you were saying red chili peppers. I was like, you either forgot a letter or you said something too fast.
No, that would be silly.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, wow. Overseer does pick up on this. So, yeah, it looks like this Observer's going to die. Boom. And that was actually a really good catch because it got in just before it saw, or he was able to kill it just before it saw Hive Tech and the Spire and everything like that.
That's true. Interesting. The Overseer just coincidentally catching the Observer right over Queen. Too bad for Kuma, but Kuma is actually keeping up on supply, so that's doing a good job. It's usually around this point where Zerg tries to leap ahead in supply by utilizing many, many bases, sometimes a macro hatch as well. So Spire is coming up for Destiny, is starting to save that gas like we see. He's got 700 on the way. This Immortal. This is the Scouting Immortal, made famous by Orb, where you accidentally queue an Immortal to the other side of the map, and then it's surrounded by Zerglings and killed.
It got one Zergling kill, so it didn't pay for itself at all.
He executed the Scouting Immortal quite well, though. That is typically how that goes.
Yeah, that's standard. It's pretty normal stuff. But Destructible Rocks are going to go down, and Kuma is swiping on 3 bases. You know, you mentioned the lower supply, but of course Destiny just sitting around and basically saying, all right, well, I'm going to play for a super late game, and I'm saving all of my resources so I can put up 1,000,000 Broodlords at once.
Yeah, he did bank quite a lot of gas while the Spire was building, but instead of building a bunch of Mutalisks, he is going to be gearing toward Broodlords. Obviously, he's got Infestors already in play, so that's a nice... Oh, wow. Those Lings are like, really? 4 cannons and 5 Force Fields and 6 Guardian Shields? No, that's not something...
Partridge in a pear tree.
Oh, I thought the Immortal was going to keep going. Like, get out of my way, Sentries and Stalkers.
I must go scout.
I have to find the other scout. He never returned.
Yeah.
Well, it makes more sense to send an Immortal than a probe, right? Because the Immortal, you know, is going to live because he's immortal.
Oh, clearly, yeah. I mean, never mind that that's the second life of a Zealot, but we won't talk about that. I do want to talk about Destiny's vision of the map. Look at that. That's insane. The only thing he doesn't see basically is directly inside of his opponent's base, but he's going to have vision of that pretty quickly here. Doesn't mind if he loses a few lings, so we can take out these destructible rocks a little bit quicker.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting the way that's walled off behind the rocks, and Cannon still has range on some of those lings. Normally, I mean, if he had just 2 roaches there, they wouldn't be hit by anything, but the lings have to find their spot at the trough, so to speak, to go attack those rocks and get hit by cannons.
Well, there's a fair number of Corruptors in the air. It's actually a total of 6. 2 more did just pop out. There we go. And the Greater Spire's finishing up here in just a second. There it is. So Broodlords morphing in right now. This is extremely quick Broodlords. This is going to be, by the time they finish, right at 15 minutes.
Do it now. Make the Broodlords now.
Get down.
Expendables 2. Go see it? No. That was a fun movie. Actually, anyway, 4 Broodlords coming in now for Destiny. He's got adrenal glands being researched. He's got +2/+2 for his lings on the way, and he's got this other upgrade up here that is the Flyer.
Yeah, Flyer
Carapace. So yes, he is going to have lots and lots of upgrades available for his many, many units.
All right, well, Adrenal Gland certainly going to be useful, and Destiny knows that these Zerglings are nothing more than a small buffer of damage for a while, and with Archons, those are pretty much the anti-Zergling they and Colossi, just anything that deals out AoE because Zerglings are so fragile. So Destiny going to try and get in position with Broodlords, of course, but you know, no Colossi here, so the AoE is going to be relatively limited.
Kuma is taking a big chance by coming out this far onto the map. He's not going to be able to retreat home easily. There's big storms on the lings, but Destiny actually just running right through it and around it, and now there's storms dropped on his own units while they're fungled there, so that's working out for him. The Broodlords are still safe. There's no anti-air directly underneath them, but Kuma does have a decent supply. The poor Immortals don't know what to do here, though. They're just being killed off by these Broodlings. They can't shoot up.
Already a ton more Zerglings were in production as well, and Destiny's just going to try and surround these forces and pin them down. It's all he wants to do to allow the Broodlords to catch up. It doesn't even need them. Kills a couple of the Immortals as well, and or I guess one of them. One of them's gone down. The other 2 are extremely low, but all of these forces are just being chased down. I'm not really sure what Kuma's going to be able to do about that. He just lost all the power of his army. Yeah,
that was, like I said, a big chance for Kuma running out in the middle like that. If he had pressed forward rather than trying to retreat, who knows how it would have gone? I'm not sure, because he had lots of anti-air there. If he had gone into the Broodlords rather than run away from them, possibly could have had a chance to kill off a couple of them and at least reset a little bit. But now Destiny's up by 50 supply. He's feeling comfortable to attack into this destructible rock again to try and bust down the door, separating the natural and the third.
And once he starts assaulting the production facilities here, that's when things will get very, very rough for Kuma. He does finally have a couple additional Archons added onto this, but that's still just such a small amount of splash compared to what is left here. Oh, directly blinking on top of the Broodlords. 2 of them have fallen. Yeah, but a third is going to go down here in a second as well, but the Zerglings have gotten a great surround on all of the Stalkers that were pinned down by fungal growth.
Yeah, the fungal, actually, they blinked under and did actually pick those Broodlords off, like you said, but then the fungal Zergling surround was so good. Now we do have another wave of Stalkers waiting, but there's so much energy left on these Infestors. Each one of these infested Terrans does as much as a Marine, so they are just crushing through the remaining Stalkers here. Actually, the last Broodlord is getting picked off. These Broodlord cocoons actually do have some armor, so they actually can take more hits than a Broodlord itself, but none of those are actually going to survive long enough to see the light of day, and Kuma picks up a few Broodlord kills, but Destiny's still rolling here. He's got a lot of energy left on, actually not much energy left on these Infestors after spawning all those Infested Terrans, but the Zerglings come in now, and they are going to help out immensely.
That's right, but the Stalker is still certainly a problem, but it's only 89 supply remaining now for Kuma, and he just can't really get anything on the field at the moment. He's got pretty decent upgrades, but these Zerglings now, they do have that Adrenal Glands finish, movement speed, everything they need to be extremely powerful, and looks like they're just going to come right back to this Nexus and kill it.
No reason not to. Well, they're just trying to bait these Stalkers out again. He does have Blink, so he could be using that to sort of whittle down these Zerglings, but he knows the Nexus is going to go down, so he commits to it. Now he's going to try and trap these Stalkers at the corner. They actually don't have vision up there, so they can't blink back. They're going to have to blink progressively to the left. Oh, where? I don't know how I got vision up there.
I think he had just the barest edge as the Stalkers were running down.
Possibly, but now, again, more Lings running in, and you see in the production tab 7 Broodlords and 4 more Infestors. Burrow is about to complete, and High Templar on the way now for Kuma. More High Templar, I should say, as he's already been dropping storms throughout.
Okay, well, these infestors have saved up enough that a few of them have fungal growths once again, and all these broodlords are about to morph right overhead the army. So once again, a very powerful army for Destiny is just going to continue kind of slamming his way up the ramp.
Yeah, and one base at a time, really, that's all you need. You're just building upon your advantage more and more as you go. The broodlords do have a nice position here to be able to attack from over that sort of pit there, as no stalkers can blink directly underneath them to kill them off. And if they do blink to the left side, all those infestors and zerglings are waiting. So this is a great attack point from Destiny. He is going to lose a couple of broodlords, but nice fungal. And again, there's the GG actually from Kuma.
All right, Kuma goes down. The bear has fallen. Destiny apparently showing us you kill a bear.